All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us or watching this recording. We are so excited to be presenting to you guys about National History Day. And today we're going to focus on creating your annotated bibliography, and we're going to touch a little bit upon creating a research note card, which some of your teachers are having you guys do. So to introduce ourselves really quickly, my name is Mrs. Robinson, and I am the school librarian at Colony High School. We have Miss Morales, who is... Go ahead.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Alicia Morales, and I'm the teacher librarian at Chaffee High School.
And I'm Cindy Nemechek, the teacher librarian at Etiwanda High School.
All right. We do want to point out that at the bottom of that presentation, there is a bit.ly link that you can go to download this slide deck. Okay. All right. So the first question we want to talk about is, what is an annotated bibliography? And this is what brings together all of your primary and secondary sources that you use in your project at the end. So it tells the reader how you used, well, first it tells your reader what your sources are and how you used your sources, why you chose to include those exact sources, and then what value they added to your understanding of the overall topic. It is not a works cited page, okay? So it is about more than just citing all of the sources that you use within your project. You are going to add your annotations to that as well. So we can go to the next page. Here are some formatting rules that you can take a picture of. I'm not going to read them word by word, or if you have downloaded the slide deck, you'll have them available to you. But we do want to make sure that you know that there are very specific formatting rules that you must follow. And we have a wonderful tool called Noodle Tools throughout our entire district that Mrs. Nemechek is going to touch upon in a little bit. And I think you wanted to add in a little note right here too, right?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that when we get to the Noodle Tools section and we talk about note cards and exporting and formatting your annotated bibliography, there will be 3 things that Noodle Tools does for you, and it will divide your sources into 2 sections, primary and secondary. It will do the alphabetizing for you in each section, and it will do the hanging indent when you export it, which is a little tricky. And then you just get to do the easy stuff, changing the title, making each source single-spaced, and adding a space between each source. So when we get there, look for those extra helps.
Right, perfect. And we do want to point out, we were talking about this yesterday, that the works cited and the annotated bibliography formats are completely different. So make sure that you are paying attention to that as you create yours. All right, commonly asked question, how many sources do I need to use in my project? The National History Day project does not give you an answer. There is not a specific number. However, you do want to consult with your own teacher because your own teacher may have their own requirements. We know that some teachers require 25 sources, some may require less. So make sure that you are touching base with them and asking for their requirements. But as far as the National History Day Association goes, they want you to be sure that you're concentrating on quality instead of quantity. As long as you have some quality sources in there that really do add to your knowledge and your understanding, they are good. All right, and do we need to organize our sources within the annotated bibliography? Yes, you absolutely do. Ms. Nemechek is going to touch on that, and she did say it earlier, but you need to separate your sources into primary and secondary sources. And then within that, you're going to alphabetize. All right. And if you do need a refresher on the difference between primary and secondary sources, we did do a Zoom session about this a couple weeks ago. The slide deck is right there, and you could download that. And you could also ask your teacher to watch a recording of that Zoom session as well. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Nemechek for the Noodle Tools tutorial, which is one of the coolest resources we have in our district.
Yes, thank you. All right, let me go to the Noodle Tool sign-in screen. All right, so if you can see this here, this tool will make your life quite a bit easier for this project. To sign into Noodle Tools, go to my.noodletools.com. You will also find a link to it on your library's website, or perhaps your teacher will send you out the link. When you get to their sign-in page, sign in with Google. With your district Google account, you already have a free account with Noodle Tools. So I'll click here. Make sure you're using your school account. Now, I already have an account, so when I sign in, it was quick. But you might have to answer questions like, what school are you from, what's your graduation year, and such, your first time signing in. Once you're logged in, you go to the My Projects page, and of course, your first time, this will be blank. So you go over to the upper right-hand corner and create a new project. Name it your NHD topic. Select the proper citation style, MLA, APA, or Chicago, whichever your teacher tells you to use for this project. I'll demonstrate with MLA, and select Advanced. Submit. Now my new project is in my list of projects for my various classes. Now, in order to work on this project, of course, it has to be open. And that is especially important as we talk about exporting citations into our project. Our project must be open in this tab, in another tab, while we export citations. So I'm going to click the title of the topic in order to open it. And now it automatically opens me to the sources page, which is perfect. Now at this point, to add sources, I can easily export citations if I'm using a database or tool that has that feature. So all of your Gale databases that you get through your library site, and some of these other ones, depending on what databases your school or public library subscribes to. These info bases also have that tool when you go to citation, export to Noodle Tools. Another option in Noodle Tools is to copy and paste, not quite as quick and easy as exporting. But again, if I go to the National History Day site and click helpful resource links or the partner resources page and use, let's say I use the Digital Public Library of America, it'll say cite the source and give me some pieces of information to use in my citation. Those you might have to check and make sure they're complete. You might have to add the date accessed, but sites like Library of Congress and things will have that feature where you can copy and paste some or sometimes all of the citation if it's complete. And then the last way, of course, would be that you might have to complete an entire citation. So now exporting, I don't do anything. I just go into the database in another tab and export from there. Copying and pasting, I do have to click the new source button and paste it in myself, maybe from a database or a website. Like I said, a Library of Congress, maybe it was a web page on a site, or I have an audio clip, recording, whatever it was. I don't have, if I'm pasting, I can stay at the top and copy and paste right here. If I click that, it gives me the box to paste into and I save it. If I'm actually working through the citation, then I will use the pieces I have and fill in as much as I can. And that's kind of another lesson. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my projects to show you a project that has sources in it. So I'm going to go down to this sample one here. Again, I click the title of the project to open that one. And you can see I have various citations. Some were pasted, pre-formatted, some were exported from the database, and some I kind of entered in myself. You'll notice they have paragraphs because I've already done some steps. Okay, once you have your sources in here, let me move this up here and look at the top. So at the top, I have a statement about my topic, debate and diplomacy in history. And if I click that, you do have the option when you start your project to create that research question. How will my project show the importance of debate and diplomacy in history and successes and failures or consequences, depending on my topic? And then the thesis really is the focus of your topic, right? So that's over here. Some people might do it before they start researching. As you research, this will change. Sometimes teachers might have you write it after you've researched for some time and you have an idea of the direction you're going. Because you'll notice my thesis statement here focuses on labor and the Delano grape strike, but then some of my resources went more into women's rights in labor and things like that. So I might have to change this a little bit. All right, so that's a feature there for you. Let's say I have these sources, and the next step would be maybe working on my thesis statement, maybe taking notes. And so we were talking about making note cards, and I want to show you how Noodle Tools can help you do that right in the system with all your sources you have stored here. Simply click on these orange boxes next to your source. Let's see if mine will work. Oh, I'm sorry. These orange boxes show how many you have. Click on the new to create a new card. And then you make sure you give the note card a title. Your teacher might guide you with this, how your teacher wants you to divide the sections of your paper or your project. They might have you create an outline, and you might want to make sure that you have the outline points in this title part here. You can decide in what page, maybe if you're using a book, what page this came from, because you might have many note cards on the same source. So keep that in mind. And then you see the sections here where you put a direct quotation in case you don't want to use too many quotes in your paper. Make sure you use the paraphrase or summary section as well to rephrase that quotation. And then your original thinking here, your questions, connections, analysis. And again, your teacher will tell you specifically how he or she wants that done, but that's a wonderful tool. And you save it and close it. I didn't really make one here, but I'll show you. Once you have a couple note cards on a source, I can click here to look at them. And then I can go in and I have options if I want to add more. Notice this one, I didn't put a tag or a page or anything on it, so I need to fix that. So all kinds of handy ways to make a note card right inside this project. And if I want those to go away, I just click here again. All right, if you're taking notes, the next thing that's very important after you've read these sources and decided how you'll use them is to annotate them for your annotated bibliography. So if I've looked at a source and decided I'm not using it, go over to these three dots on the right, your little menu here, on the right side of each source, and maybe I want to delete that source. Take out the ones you are not going to use for your paper. Only keep the ones that or the ones that you didn't even get the chance to look at. Maybe you want to include it and explain why you did not use it. That's fine. All right, but how do I add the annotation? How do I get this paragraph? Go to edit. So the three dots to the right of every source, go to edit, and then scroll down in your citation to the annotation. And here's where you explain how you use the source, why you're including it, and how it helps you understand the project better. Where do you see that? So edit, scroll down, and write your annotation. All right, and once you've done that to all your sources, and you're at that stage where you're ready to create an annotated bibliography, here's where Noodle Tools helps you and makes it easy. Go to the print button. There's a print button across the very, very top bar, and it says export print, and you want to export to print.
Before we do that, Mrs. Nemechek,
Sure.
can we show them how we tagged primary versus secondary sources?
Thank you. Okay, oops, cancel that. Before you do that, so this is probably a common mistake, what I just did. So I'm so glad that Ms. Robinson pointed that out to me, that I went to export and print before I completed the requirement to separate. So everyone notice the tags on the right-hand side across this top bar. Go to tag. For each source, you click the little circle here, or there might be nothing there. Click the source tag and decide whether it's a primary, secondary, or tertiary source. So if you notice, all my sources have little P's and S's on them. I've labeled them, and you can do that as you enter your source. Give it a tag right away. Okay, thank you. So first I have to, now that I have them labeled, I have to go to the way they're sorted. Right now they're totally alphabetical. I need it to be primary and secondary. Everyone see that in the upper right-hand corner under the green new source button, sort your sources by primary and secondary. Now it's done for me, and they're still alphabetical in each section. Okay, so now let's go to the export to Google Docs. Not worried about that because they're already separated into sections, so I'll submit. So now the third thing Noodle Tools did for me, besides separating primary and secondary and alphabetizing, was to complete my hanging indent. This formatting here with the first line out to the margin so that we can tell the separation of sources is already done. Now comes my turn. I need to change the title to annotated bibliography. I need to change the spacing for each source to single space. So I simply highlight that source. I'm going to include my annotation as well. Go to line, paragraph, and spacing and to make that single. Looks good. But then the third thing I have to do is add that extra space between each citation. So this one, single space. I noticed this one doesn't have an annotation, but I'm in Google Docs, so I could always add that later. And so on. And these hanging indents make it really easy for me to figure out when my next source starts, right? And then I just add the extra space. So this is a little different, this spacing. Usually we use the MLA with the just solid double spacing, but you'll have to go through so that it looks like this by the time you're done. All right, is there anything else I should mention, you guys, that I might have forgotten?
No,
think it
this
looks
looks
great.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Good, you're welcome. Let me stop sharing here and bring it back to you. Okay.
Okay, well, I think that was an awesome tutorial, Ms. Nemechek. I think students can take a look at that, maybe watch it a couple of times because it takes a while. It takes a while to learn. If you're not familiar with Moodle tools, the more you use it, the more comfortable you'll feel with it. And if it means coming back to this tutorial and looking at it a couple times, then do it. I think if what we want you guys to get out of this is let the technology work for you, right? Let the technology help you with this project. It may seem very overwhelming, but you have many, many tools to help you through this process. And I think one thing I could give as a suggestion would be to, as you're finding your resources, make sure to tag them, right? Make sure to write them down. Sometimes students, I think, wait until the very end to start with their citation process, and that is very challenging. That could seem very overwhelming. So as you are looking for an article, you're finding articles, you're finding websites, you're finding videos, fill this out, have it open, have the Noodle Tools tab open, ready to go, and you're typing away, you're writing yourself your notes. Because the process of the research cards or just doing your citation is to help you understand these resources that you're finding, help you understand how you're going to use them in your project, how you're going to present them. That's the point of the annotated bibliography, right? Making yourself these notes, and why are these resources or sources important to my project or to the theme or to the topic. So you have a lot of tools to your disposal. So you have, in addition to what Ms. Nemechek just showed you, don't forget, we're going to keep coming back to this. National History Day website has a lot of resources. They have more information on annotated bibliographies. They have more information on Noodle tools. They have more information on resources in general. So it doesn't matter where you are in this project, keep going back to National History Day, the website. They have everything for you. Follow them on social media if you need to. They will be providing useful tips, useful information. Stay informed. I think that will help you throughout this project. And of course, don't forget, we are here for you. This has been a really nice collaboration project between our schools. And so it's a great opportunity to, tap into Ms. Nemechek's expertise, or Ms. Robinson's, or you guys can contact me as well. You have our email addresses. You can go to the library. We're here for you. And so Ms. Robinson mentioned a copy of this slide deck. Here's the link again. So that you guys can find this and you could find this information. And also there will be a recording of this. And so you can continue to watch it. We will be forwarding this to your teachers and also maybe finding it in our library guides and our websites, depending on how how your teachers disseminating their information. I believe some have Canvas sites for National History Day, so you could check those as well. So I think that's it, unless there's anything else. Ms. Robinson, Ms. Nemechek, you want to say one last goodbye?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. I think this has, like you said, just been such a meaningful collaboration for us, and we've loved being able to dive into this project with you guys. So thank you.
I'd like to second that. This is Etawanda's first year doing National History Day, so I've learned so much from collaborating with you guys. So I appreciate you guys welcoming me into the group.
Okay, so with that, we'll stop the recording and happy researching.